Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me, Barry Coombs, on this Define Tomorrow catch-up webinar. You're probably joining this because you were unable to make Define Tomorrow live on the day. Define Tomorrow this year happened at the Ashton Gate Football Stadium in Bristol, home of Bristol City and I think it's Bristol Bears Rugby Club. We had over 200 registrations. We had speakers that are known throughout the IT industry, and we had, I think it was around 15 sponsors there on the day to demonstrate their technologies, to talk to our customers about what they are doing at the moment. So what I am tasked with doing today is bringing all the good stuff that we covered in a day at Define Tomorrow, which summarized everything that was in a week at VMworld into 1 hour for you today. So what I want us to do is go through some key themes, point out some of the presentations that I really recommend that you look out for at our virtual event when that launches this Thursday, and hopefully help you with some of the considerations for your strategy for 2019. So without any further ado, hopefully you can all see my screen. I've got Megan on the chat if you wanted to ask any specific questions or had any comments. If you've got any problems listening or seeing or anything like that, please let Megan know and she can best facilitate getting this sorted for you. So as you can see from the agenda on the day, we had a packed day of presentations covering a variety of different technologies, as well as the opportunity for people to be able to network with like-minded individuals and with those specialists, both from Computer World, but also the wider industry. Highly recommend, if you can attend in person next year, really recommend you do, because there's no other experience like being able to be there on the day to get that information yourself. As you can see, Dell had probably the largest stand that we've seen at an event in the southwest of the UK, demonstrating not only their enterprise technology, but their client technology. We had the brand new Dell MX7000 Blade chassis, which is modular, vSAN compatible. We had their switching range, we had the client portfolio, as well as storage from the SC series and also EMC. Barracuda was one of our other platinum sponsors who were demonstrating their technology around email security, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. And of course, VMware talking about their software-defined data center, whiteboarding the solutions, and we had demonstrations from the Computer World specialists around workspace transformation, particularly modern management, but also looking at microsegmentation with VMware NSX. For those of you that don't know, I'm not going to talk about Computer World in great length, but we focus on three main areas, being infrastructure modernization, the software-defined data center, vSAN, NSX, as well as vSphere, and how that is going to be transitioning from your data center and into the cloud with the likes of AWS and also Azure. We also look at workspace transformation. We've got a team of specialists that are helping our customers, looking at how the users work inside your organizations. So we're looking at things like Office 365, Microsoft Teams. The big thing we're seeing at the moment is the migration to Windows 10. We're also looking at identity in the cloud. And then finally, we cannot concentrate on all these areas without looking at security and protection of your data. Of course, we offer managed services, we offer consultancy, we offer the ability to train you or your users, as well as the offering of being able to act as a procurement partner for you, getting you the best deal on your servers, client, security products, and all those areas as well. So again, if we have a look at 2017, we ended 2017 and a theme of our 2017 conference was, what is your strategy? And I firmly believe that even going into 2018 and 2019 and beyond, we need to make sure as IT professionals that we have a documented strategy that we are moving towards to make sure that we as IT professionals are keeping up with the needs of our business. We're seeing the cloud offering huge amounts of transformation at the moment. We're seeing security being needed wherever, more than ever before. And we're seeing our users demanding technologies in the way that simply we've not delivered before. We've been used to, as IT professionals, being able to set the strategy, set the guide, set the hardware and the software that they're going to use, and then getting on with it. Well, that's being flipped on its head now, and the user is kind of dictating what they want to be able to do. And if we can't deliver it for them, they're going to go and do it ourselves. So it's important that we have a strategy around this, we have an opinion around this, that we have documented that. And this really kind of goes on to our first presentation around strategy and about understanding actually what your business is setting out to do. So our first presentation was by a gentleman called Simon Wardley. He's from Leading Edge Forum, and he invented some 9 years ago something called Wardley Maps. So he was a CEO of his own company. He calls himself a kind of a fraud of a CEO, not really knowing where he was going or where his business going. And he developed this technique of mapping out the value within your organization in a map. I'm not going to profess to be as expert as he is. I'd highly recommend that you look out for our virtual event that's launching Thursday and watch his session. It is going to be able to help you understand the value of mapping out your strategy. And one of the things that he kind of said is, if you were leading an army or leading a group of people, how would you want to be going to do that? Would you want to tell a story to tell people how to get from A to B? And telling a story may work if you're giving someone directions on how to get down the street to the local coffee shop or something like that. Or would you want to give them a map so it's very clear how you get from A to B, what the distance is from A to B, the direction of travel you should be going in? And what Simon talks about is understanding the value chain. So you as IT professionals, do you truly understand how your business makes money, what its main focus is going to be, what it needs to achieve over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years? Because if you don't, delivering an IT strategy that is going to help with those ambitions is near enough impossible. So really, really recommend that you look up Simon Wardley, have a look at the content that he has created, have a look at the Wardley mapping technique. A lot of it is open source, available to the community, and watch the video that is coming in our virtual event that will be launched on Thursday. Now, one of the things that we are doing to help you with this and to help you understand and set a strategy that is going to help your business, but is also aligned to where the industry is going, is we're offering complimentary strategy workshops. So either myself or one of the people from my team will work with you in either an hour or a 2-hour session to help you review what you're doing, what your focus is, what you're looking at. We'll be able to highlight areas that maybe need further consideration, that could be looked at in a different way, or maybe areas that you simply haven't considered. Now, there's no cost for this. If you just head over to cwstrategy.youcanbook.me, you can pick the session that is available. If you can't see the session that will suit you, just send me an email at barryc@computerworld.co.uk. And to further incentivize you to reach out to us and engage with us, we have a fantastic technology bundle available for one lucky winner of those strategy sessions. That will be pulled out of a hat on the 1st of January and will be delivered at that strategy session. So from there, you can go and have a look. We've got some fantastic gadgets like the Amazon Echo Show. We've got a brilliant book called The Phoenix Project, as well as the VMware vSphere Cluster and Deep Dive and some other bits and pieces. So I highly recommend, if you've not had a strategy session with us, reach out to us and get yours booked free of charge. So we then moved on to an expert panel session where we got a group of people together, some of those presenters, but also some of our customers. And Simon Wardley very kindly gave up his good in the world and making sure that we had a even match of the panel. We had a fantastic presenter, Polly, from an organisation in Wales that joined us to even up our panel to make sure we had fair representation. So as you can see, the conversations that we had on stage with Joe Baguley, with Spencer, with Polly and Duncan were kind of reminiscent or were focusing on the areas that both the industry is telling us that we're going, but also the challenges that the users are facing. What is blocking us? And one of those things that we were hearing from the customers and that I am seeing is kind of, how do we focus on transformation? How do we move ahead? How do we change when business as usual is holding us back? And this is a real careful balance that we need to make sure that we're able to make sure that we are dealing with business as usual. Obviously, keeping the lights on is probably our #1 priority. But if we're not transforming, we will quickly find that the ways that we deliver technology to our business are becoming more and more irrelevant. And we need to be thinking about those further. So it was a really interesting conversation with looking at those two sides and getting to a point where we can take baby steps, having that strategy and meeting those milestones along the way. We then moved on to the security part of our presentation, or one of the security parts of our presentation. And Stephen Peake from Barracuda took the stage. And his presentation was only one of a section of security messages throughout the day. Now, it wasn't deliberate, but Actually, if we look at security and the way that we're delivering security, it shouldn't just be the sticky plaster that we stick over it. It shouldn't necessarily just be a section on security. Everything we're doing today needs to have security by design. And the element that Stephen spoke about was certainly email security. We're seeing, as we're making our networks, as we're putting more intelligence into the way we're securing our networks, that the ways that the hackers are getting in and getting our data is ever more focused on the user, around being able to use means of social engineering to be able to get our users' data. And Stephen was talking about the importance of email security being multi-layered. We're all used to implementing security solutions that are chasing all the problems that could happen, using signatures to be able to find specific use cases and filtering out against those. And what we're seeing from Barracuda, but also VMware, is the actual focus should be flipped somewhat, and we should be focusing on the known good. And certainly one of the technologies from Barracuda, Sentinel, is about artificial intelligence, it's about machine learning, to look at what emails you usually receive, what is that known good, so we're then able to better detect emails that are happening that are being focused on you specifically or your user specifically, so we're able to flag those and stop those causing an issue. And Barracuda have fantastic solutions that are multifaceted, that are based upon machine learning, AI, that can work with your existing email filtering that is more traditional, or can work with their own email filtering. So quite common, we're seeing customers that are on something like Mimecast today, but they're putting Sentinel on there as a second tier of protection. But we're also seeing this from a VMware perspective, and they've got a product called App Defense that is designed to do a very similar thing for your virtual infrastructure. So it learns how the applications normally communicate between each other, what is normal, and it is then able to apply protection based upon that known good, rather than the list upon list of things that could go wrong inside that infrastructure. And further still, you can integrate that with VMware NSX, and you're able to dynamically change the network based upon the protection that is required at any given time. We also had other fantastic technologies displayed on the day from the likes of Netrix, that is an auditing tool that allows you to audit both your internal and cloud-based solutions such as Office 365 as to what's going on, what changes are being made, and also what may be going on inside the environment in terms of users being exploited or moving data around from that perspective. We saw Bitdefender talking about their next generation antivirus, as well as a plethora of other products. It's really important that we have a security strategy. The way that we like to do this at Computer World is by having a simple, a staged approach to looking at your security. We have a product called CWCare Secure Essentials, which is one of our most popular products at the moment, which enables us to come into your business and do a very agnostic deep dive into your infrastructure, where we're looking at the security practices in place, what has been implemented, to give you a prioritized list of ways that you can secure your environment. And we believe that by looking at your environment in this way, we're able to help you protect about 80% of the threats that you will have to your business. So once you've got that, you can then maybe work with further pen testers around the further 20% on what you can do to really secure that. So I'd recommend that if you've not done any form of security audit, have a look at CWCare Secure Essentials, and then have a look at the government standards for Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus to see how you can ensure that you're gaining those certifications and you're moving forward constantly. If you have a breach, one of the important things, as well as reporting it, as well as correcting it, is being able to show people that you are moving in the right direction and getting more and more secure as time goes by. And this is a really good way to do it. We also, when you're looking at being able to prioritize that business as usual, we're seeing people that are not dropping the ball, but are having less time to be able to look at some of the business as usual things that they should be, especially where security is concerned. Your virtual environment is a fantastic example. With the latest versions that are now available from VMware, we're seeing people that are many years behind on the version of VMware in their environment. Then not only are you not getting the most out of that software that you're already investing with, that you're paying the support and subscription with, but you are then left with security deficits that you're not patching to keep up to date. So we have a product called vSphere Monitor and Maintain, where we're able to help you monitor your virtual environment on an active basis, where we're using our intelligence to set thresholds that are not just the CPU's a little bit high, the memory's out of use, but we're looking at trends over time and how that environment is coping over the time. And we'll also put you a bespoke maintenance schedule in where we will come in and keep your environment up to date for you. Now, the great thing about this product is it scales for all budgets. So if you just want us to come in to do it once a year, we can do that. For most of our customers, we're looking at 4 updates a year, maybe 1 bigger update and 3 smaller updates. That keeps it up to date, it keeps it up to standards, it makes it more secure, and it means that the computer world specialists are just keeping an eye on it for you, so you can focus on your business, your transformation, and where your business should be going. We've already spoke about the complementary strategy planning sessions and also secure essentials. So if you'd like any further information about any one of those, speak to your computer world account manager or reach out on the chat now to Megan and we can make sure someone gets back in touch with you. So moving on from security and the strategy perspective, we then start to look at your data center today and the hardware that is involved with that. So we had Mark Mulvany, the hybrid cloud lead at Dell, talking to us as to what Dell are doing to stay relevant inside your data center as part of your IT strategy. Now, obviously, looking at Dell Technologies, this is a big company with VMware now being part of that. We've got strong visions into the future with VMware on AWS, as well as their security and workspace strategies. But what we're seeing for the vast majority of our customers is that there is still the need to have some form of infrastructure on site today and for the foreseeable future. And one of the things that I really like about Dell, and Mark was speaking about, was their ability to be able to offer a variety of solutions to fit an individual customer's needs. No longer are they trying to sell one solution because that's all in their bag. We're seeing the rise of the software-defined data center. Certainly hyper-converged infrastructure is one of those key areas, those key trends that we're seeing. To be able to keep the business as usual as simple as possible, we no longer want to be going out there and educating people on how to be a storage admin, how to be a virtual admin, how to be a network admin. It's kind of the rise of the generalist. We're expecting our staff to be able to do more with less. And this is where the software-defined data center really helps. Not only is it simplifying your virtual infrastructure with technologies like vSAN or Dell's VxRail that is also based on vSAN, it's making it simpler to be able to maintain. It's simpler to be able to manage from that perspective. It's getting you ready to be able to pick up and move to the cloud if that's the right strategy for you. We're seeing most customers assessing software as a service or re-platforming using platform as a service in something like Azure and AWS, and obviously moving to more modern ways such as serverless with AWS Lambda for re-architecting those applications. But the workloads, those legacy workloads that are still running on premises, or the workloads that need to be closer to the users of the work being done, having a look at a hyper-converged infrastructure such as VMware, vSAN, VxRail, or from a Microsoft perspective, looking at storage spaces direct, will really simplify your infrastructure to make it a lot more simpler to move to work moving forward. And as you can see in the photo on screen there, Dell have a variety of solutions to fit a variety of budgets, aligned with both VMware, with Microsoft, with traditional solutions like SC and Unity from EMC's perspective as well. So it's about choosing the right element for you. The way that we do this with customers, we do a live assessment using a product called Live Optics, which allows us to really understand what's going on inside your environment so we can design a solution that is customized to your specific needs. So if you're in a scenario where you're looking to replace that hardware, you're looking to do it on the right budget or to simplify it to make sure that it is something you don't need to focus on as much, again, reach out to your account managers, speak to them, and we can do a complimentary assessment using Live Optics so you can understand what is really required. We're now moving on to workspace transformation. We had Spencer Pitts from VMware talking. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're seeing the end of life for Windows 7 coming in 2019, just over 2019, 2020, I think it is, at the beginning of 2020 in January. So at the moment, we're seeing the need for people to be migrating to Windows 10. And moving from Windows 7 to Windows 10 is by no means an easy task. We're seeing a lot of people having to re-image or buy new hardware to be able to achieve that. There's obviously a variety of ways. The most popular way is using those existing tools such as SCCM to facilitate that migration. But you really must remember to work with the users. We have an approach here at Computer World where we're talking about departmental champions. We will look at people in your business and we will bring them together to understand what the desktop needs to look like, how we can make it more productive for them. Look at technologies like Microsoft Teams and understand how we can help those teams collaborate or be more productive whilst we're doing these projects. But that's not where it ends. Microsoft have been very vocal around Windows 10 being their last client operating system. It's now built with a service-based model where it is being continuously kept up to date. And you as IT professionals need to be buying into that. Whilst there are methods that are designed to keep it a bit more static, Microsoft has said that these are meant for static workloads such as ATMs or life-critical machines. If you're not using one of those specific use cases, if it's your users' devices, you need to be on the ability to continuously update this operating system. And that's why we're seeing the rise of modern management. So modern management is cloud-based management from either Microsoft with Intune or VMware with Workspace ONE that allows you to manage, maintain, and monitor those devices wherever they are, whenever you need to. So we should be able to patch them. We should be able to control them. Active Directory is becoming a thing of the past. We need more modern ways, whether that's Azure Active Directory or other ways that we can manage and maintain those via policy. More derived or more connected with the way that we're managing mobile devices today. So obviously Workspace ONE comes from AirWatch, top right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant that VMware acquired a few years ago and is now called Workspace ONE UEM. And that is at the core of the ways that you manage your devices, whether that is a mobile device, a PC, or something like a laptop. So not only do we need to be getting to Windows 10, we need to be considering modern management and how we move forward, how we can really enable the users to pick up any device in any location and work anywhere. And we're not just talking about VDI anymore. When we had those conversations in the past, VDI was always the answer. Today, VDI is the right solution some of the time, but we need to be looking into more native ways that we can pick up our iPhone and just be productive in a secure way. So have a look at VMware Workspace ONE. We do have a Workspace transformation workshop planned in January. At the end of the presentation, we've got the dates and there will be some invites being sent out probably on Thursday with our virtual event as well. And finally, so Joe Baguley is always one of the biggest reasons that people want to come to Define Tomorrow. They want to hear from VMware CTO as to where VMware is going, where you should be going, and how you align yourself to that VMware story and that vision. Joe started off his presentation talking about VMware and where it's been, where it's come from. And VMware has always been a company that bridges technologies, that is able to help bridge technologies to deliver more freedom, more flexibility, and allow you to be more productive, certainly with less people than you ever have needed to before. And they obviously started this with server virtualization, bridging the gap between different server manufacturers, allowing us to move workloads from one server to another server. We've all been on that ESX journey. We all know the first time we saw vMotion and the effect that had on us. VMware have obviously carried on this journey, moving to the workspace and VDI, allowing users to be able to work from any location, any place, any time. And we've already heard how modern management is the way that that's going. We look at networking and VMware NSX, where we're able to decouple the intelligence of the network, the segmentation, the ability to quickly deploy networks from the physical hardware into the virtual layer. We've got vSAN, where delivering the ability to be able to manage and maintain the storage is going from dumb storage arrays down on the bottom end, or very intelligent storage arrays, to software-based policy within vSphere itself. VMware's next revolution, VMware's next focus area is this multi-cloud era. The ability to allow you to be able to run workloads on premises or in the cloud in that hybrid way, or between clouds flexibly, that allows you to choose the best way to deliver your application at any place, any time. And what is most important is that intrinsic security. So certainly from a VMware perspective, we already spoke about app defense, but if you're buying into that whole software-defined data center vision where you've got vSphere, you've got NSX managing your network, you've got vSAN from your storage perspective, and we've got app defense that is integrating with that to be able to understand the known good, and protect you when something bad happens. Most importantly, it plugs into the other security technologies that you're utilizing to offer this really intelligent plane over what is happening inside your data center. VMware are obviously pushing very hard into the cloud now. They've got very strong relationships with AWS. You can now run up a full VMware virtual environment on top of AWS all around the globe. We saw an announcement at the same week as Define Tomorrow called AWS Outposts, which effectively allow you to deploy AWS into your data center, even with VMware on AWS on top of it, where VMware will completely manage and maintain that environment. So you have more choice, more flexibility than ever before as to the right way to design your data center. And this is why it is important to understand these options and have that strong strategy. But I really recommend you do reach out and see how we can assist you with that completely free of charge. So that's a lot of information. I'm going to deliver this presentation probably in a lot under an hour to hopefully allow you to focus on the areas that should matter to you. I can't wrap up all those presentations and give you all of that detail, so the virtual event will be coming to you on Thursday. So if you're interested in workspace transformation, if you have a challenge on how you get to Windows 10 and then how you adopt modern management with either Intune or Workspace ONE, come and join us on the 10th of January for a limited number of seats for our Workspace Transformation Workshop here at our head office at Computer World. We will be covering the best ways to transition from Windows 7 to Windows 10, the best ways to transition from legacy management to modern management, the ways to be able to educate and work with your users to make sure that this is successful. Following that, we'll be into the data center and looking at the software-defined data center. We'll be looking at the latest changes to vSphere. We'll be looking at hyper-converged infrastructure using technologies such as VMware vSAN and VxRail. And importantly, we can't forget the network. We'll be looking at NSX and how that can help you microsegment your network to ensure that even if you get a breach, you're able to limit the effects that that will have on your business. So again, that's at the Computer World head office here on the 17th of January. Again, only limited seats available for that one as well. I've already mentioned numerous times, the virtual event will be in your inbox on the 13th of December. Please feel free to share that with whoever is going to be most relevant in your organization or anyone else you know. The content that we've got available from that event is industry leading. These people are known within their fields as being the right people to be speaking to be listening to understand where that strategy is going. So take the time to watch some of those presentations. And finally, remember to book your free strategy planning session. We've got a few slots available still in January, https://cwstrategy.youcanbook.me. So from my perspective, there is so much happening in IT right now. There is so much change happening. There's more need than ever before to keep our infrastructure online because our business requires on it, to keep it secure because there are so many risks of breach, of data leaving our organization, of encryption and the effects that that could have on our business. We need to make sure that we have firm strategies in place so every small step that we're taking is getting us towards that final direction, that final vision, that final strategy that we've got. And if we're not doing all these things, if we're not juggling and keeping these things up in the air, we're going to miss that strategy, miss that vision. And most importantly for our business, we're not going to be aligned and we're not going to hit that strategy. And for you as an IT professional, you're not going to be relevant anymore. And we want to make sure that we're staying relevant. So have a look at the way that you're going to achieve this. Work with partners like Computer World to understand how we can make that a little bit easy for you, how we can take some of that pain away with our managed services and our strategy planning sessions. I hope you found this useful. It is only a very quick flyby of some of the things that were spoken about at that event. Watch the virtual event, reach out to your account managers. Thanks very much for watching.